Hello and welcome. We are the... I'll start again.
He started.
Let's get this show going, man.
Hurry up, hurry up! Hurry up! Hurry up!
Hurry up!
Come on now. We're gonna have action soon. Right here. It ain't going nowhere.
Boy, your ass got some technique, boy. You ain't show me that this summer.
Hey, wildcat.
Ball at the 5, third down and 2.
That was bad.
Let's go have some fun, bro. We ain't got to talk about too much.
He wasn't playing the ball.
It's holding!
Cliff. The Cliff. How is that not called?
That ain't gonna call a damn thing.
What is the delay for? He's standing right there.
He's taking a card out. He's a piece of paper.
It's that close? Dear Lord.
Hello and welcome. We're the Aussie guys. I'm AJ. Here with me is G. How are you, G?
G and
Eventually, Schepps. How you
got
doing?
out of bed. Thanks, Schepps.
Hey,
Happy post-Thanksgiving
thanks.
to you.
I'm thankful to be here. I'm pretty thankful right now.
We're very thankful.
We're very
as well.
thankful. We've been waiting for a while.
I'm thankful to be up and talking to my guys. What's happening?
Well, not much has happened the
Not over
last
here.
couple of days, has it, G?
No. Well, we don't actually have Thanksgiving, which you've just woken from the morning after of, and no food coma, which is a bit disappointing.
No.
Always good to have a food coma. That's when you know you've had a good meal. Is when I've got to go lie on the couch for a little while and just have a little bit of a nap because I'm pretty chockers. So you had a good Thanksgiving? Well, you must have, mate, because your Cowboys had a really good win. Mate, a win's a win,
I don't
mate.
know.
And at this stage of the year,
Yes.
you got to take them when you can. You can get them.
But it's also a wake-up call because we are playing New Orleans next week. So it's like, it's been fun. It's been fun. But now we're going to go play New Orleans, who's going to win the Super Bowl and who should have won the Super Bowl last year. Come on. That fluke play in Minnesota
Yes.
is the only reason why New Orleans didn't win the Super Bowl last year. Drew Brees would have went into Philadelphia, kicked the crap out of Nick Foles and the Eagles, and then he would have went to the Super Bowl and beat the Patriots.
Yep.
And then they'd be winning back-to-back Super Bowls. So it's going to happen. And I like Kansas City. I like Kansas City. I like the Rams, but I'm sorry. Like, Drew Brees, he's better than those quarterbacks right now. They have Kamara, who's better than, Gurley's close. Hunt's close, but he's better. Then you got Michael Thomas, and then you got that defense.
Well, that's
with
what's separating them at the moment, isn't it, really? Isn't it? Is the defense.
Yes.
All three teams have an outstanding, high-powered offenses, but the one thing they've got going for them is they've got a defense that's better than the other two.
But I do like Michael Thomas better than the rest. I mean, I like Tyreek Hill, but I just Michael Thomas, man, and Kamara. He's so that they can. I think they are a step above those guys on offense and with the offensive line. But yeah, that defense. And then if Davenport emerges on defensive end opposite Jordan, then they're really going to be a problem. So I mean, next week is going to be brutal. But it was a win, and also the past few years, because every Thanksgiving is a Cowboys game, and the Cowboys games haven't been great the past few years as far back as I can remember. So this was a good one. But we should have suffocated them. We should have. Our offense just didn't capitalize early on interceptions and fumble recoveries. We didn't score on opportunities that we should have scored on, and it took us till like the fourth quarter to really start moving. So it's just frustrating. Our offense, and then we get 5 yards from the end zone, and then we stop running the ball. It's like, come on, feed the guy. He brought us down here, but I'm not going to bicker about the Cowboys. This isn't Cowboys hour.
Mate, if you want to talk about when you get down to the inside the 20, if you want to talk about a team that has absolutely no idea what to do when they get down there, just go and watch the Falcons. That's just.
I watched the first quarter of that game last night.
That's all you needed.
Look, it was. It was pretty much the Drew Brees Kamara sort of show, and what other wide receivers that you've never heard of before catching the football, for touchdowns. And
right.
No, they were just far too good. Our defense is shot. Our offensive line's shot. We don't have a run game. So look, yeah, look. This sounds bad from a supporter, but I'm pretty chuffed if we don't win another game for the rest of the season and get a higher draft pick. To be honest, because we're not going anywhere.
What are you going to do when you lose as many players? And I hate having an excuse, but when an excuse is an excuse, it's an excuse.
Yep.
Like as simple as that. I mean, that sounds stupid. It's early. Maybe that's why that was so stupid. But I couldn't think of anything more elaborate than that. But you're missing everybody. You're missing everybody.
We're missing the spine. We're missing the running back, our two guards.
Yeah.
Offensive guards. We're missing.
Your best linebacker,
our best linebacker, best safety in Jones and Keanu Neal.
And imagine going to practice and looking around the room and seeing who's missing and seeing who's there. It's demoralizing. Every single day they probably have to talk themselves up and say, well, we're probably not as talented as the next team we're playing. We're playing with a bunch of backups, but I'm going to try my hardest. Every day they have to tell themselves, I'm going to go after it. I'm going to go after it. Even though they're looking defeat in the eye, that's not easy. So I'm giving you a cop out right now. I think it's allowed. I know it sucks though. It doesn't make it easy.
Oh, look, I found it easy today because I had Drew Brees and a few of the Orleans guys on my team, and I was actually playing against in a couple of leagues Matt Ryan and Julio. So I was actually my own team wasn't doing too well. That's what fantasy does to you sometimes, doesn't it? You stop rooting for your own team.
Twists you in knots.
It does. So anyway, and the other game was the Bears and Lions game, and I pretty much watched a bit of that and turned it off, to be honest.
Yeah,
it didn't excite me at all.
Sucked.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It did.
Now listen, just things got real serious real fast. But just whoa, Camel. Now the elephant in the room, G.
Yes.
What happened super recently as yesterday?
Well, as far as I know, the Americans celebrated my birthday yesterday.
Woohoo!
Thank you.
Oh, happy birthday!
Thank you.
That's why I didn't have a food coma, because I wanted to be able to come on in the morning and wish you a happy birthday.
Mate, we should have written yourself off and on behalf of me, because I don't drink, and you could have done it for both of us. So hit 50 yesterday. So I actually don't feel 50. I don't think I look 50.
50. You don't look 50.
Botox is amazing stuff. Bit of plastic surgery, bit of nip and tuck, bit of fillers. Does amazing things.
In honour of G turning 50, I've got a quick 50 quiz for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Put it out.
Here you go.
Let's do it.
So, there are 6 players in the Hall of Fame who wore the number 50.
Oof.
I doubt you know any of them. Can you name any? Schepps?
Can you give me like a time frame? These guys
ages ago.
Was Mike Singletary? Is Mike Singletary?
Yeah, you got one. You champion. Mike Singletary was the only one I thought you guys might get.
All right. Let me keep going.
Oh, really?
I don't think Butkus wore 50.
No. 51, I think he wore.
I'm trying to think of linebackers.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
I'll give you the names. I'll give you the names. Len Ford.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jim Otto, Steve Owen, Singletary, obviously, Ken Strong, and Alex Wojciechowicz.
Nope, wouldn't have gotten any of those.
Okay. So Schepps,
that's probably how it's pronounced. That's definitely
something
how it's
like
pronounced.
that, yeah. Now, so Schepps 1 point. So, Super Bowl. Tell me guys, about Super Bowl 50. Who were the participants in Super Bowl 50?
That would be the Broncos and the Panthers.
Yes, well done, G. Do you know the score?
It was in New York.
No,
do I get a bonus for that?
It was at Levi's Stadium.
Oh shoot!
Yeah,
I thought that was in Madison Square. I mean,
he's going for the extra point. Does he lose his first point for that?
No, he doesn't.
Damn.
Now, score. Who won?
Well, the Broncos won.
Yes. What was the score?
No, I don't remember. To be honest,
Schepps.
It was a blowout, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, you'd call it a blowout, I suppose.
30 to 13.
24-10. So sort of close, I guess. Now, every year the NFL has the top 100. Last year, and this is going to be very hard.
Who was number 50?
Last year, who was number 50? I'll give you a clue, though.
Okay.
It was a quarterback.
Last year, 50.
Yeah, 50.
So in the middle.
Year. In the middle.
In the middle.
You have a punt? No.
Lower, higher, like rated quarterback.
Lower.
Lower.
Than Cam, yeah.
Lower than Cam.
Oh, actually, last year. Oh, no, this year, I'm sorry, because it's 2018.
Yeah.
Ooh, no, lower. You'd have to say lower.
Lower?
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins.
Deshaun Watson.
Okay.
Yep. I was going to say Garoppolo.
2017, but we'll do the same exercise. 2017, number 50, quarterback.
Last year?
Yeah. You wouldn't put him there this year.
You put him lower.
Stock down. Yep.
Matt Stafford.
No. Ooh.
I mean the ballpark.
Derek Carr.
No. Oh, ooh,
Derek Carr.
that's stock way down. Marcus Mariota. 2016, number 50. Running back. Stock down again. Way down. Actually, he hasn't. He's on IR currently.
There's a ton of them.
Yeah, there is. Doesn't narrow the field very much.
I'll go look at my fantasy rosters to see who's Darius Geis is on IR, but he hasn't played yet.
No, but it's 2016 though, so a 2016 running
You're
back.
going to have a bit of editing here, mate. There's a lot of dead air.
That's all right. Give up.
Devontae Freeman.
Yes, you got it.
Yes.
Devonta Freeman. And 2015,
good guess. Good
number
guess.
50. 2015, number 50. Wide receiver.
Is he still in the league?
He's in a different uniform.
So he's still in the league?
Yeah, still in the league in a different uniform. Older wide
Michael
receiver.
Crabtree.
No. That's a good guess, but no.
Good guess. Golden Tate.
No, Deshaun Jackson. According to the NFL Players Association, the first quarter of this year, the number 50 selling jersey was...
Oh, jeez.
You'd be surprised.
This is 50 selling jerseys. So
Yep.
is it...
I'll give you a clue. Not a rookie.
I was going to say, is it a rookie?
And an
Position?
An MVP candidate.
Ooh, Drew Brees.
Patrick
No,
Mahomes.
no. Todd Gurley.
50.
50?
Yeah, number 50.
Damn.
Yeah, because rookies, a lot of rookies go, I guess, they sort of get...
Yeah, but Todd Gurley's having a great... That
He is.
That just goes to show a little bit of...
Oh, the LA thing.
The LA thing, doesn't
does,
it, really?
Actually. Now, so far in 2018, the team that's kicked the most field goals from 50 and beyond is...
Baltimore Ravens.
No.
I'm trying to think in fantasy who are the kickers that are doing the thing.
Yep, it's one of them, for sure. It is.
Greg the Leg.
Is it Gostkowski?
No.
Is it Gostkowski?
No.
Oh, Kaimani Fairbairn?
Oh, the Houston... No. No, it's Atlanta, so it'll be Matt Bryant. 6 for 6 from 50 or beyond. The oldest player... Do you know who the oldest player to ever play in the NFL is, guys?
No.
How old he was and who he was? No. Unfortunately, he wasn't 50.
I don't.
I was hoping he'd be 50.
That'd be good if he was 50.
So, gee, I have to shatter your dream of playing in the NFL
Yeah,
because
it's
no
gone.
50-year-old
No good.
has ever played in the NFL. But George Blanda,
Yes.
who was a quarterback and a kicker, holds the record. He played at the age of 48. That was when he retired.
Well, that's not 50, so...
No, sorry. In the draft,
Good old George Blanda.
Who was the 50th person taken in the
50th
draft?
person taken in the draft this year,
Position?
Schepps. 50th person taken in the draft, you should know.
Michael Gallup.
No. Close.
Oh, Connor Williams. Connor
Yes,
Williams.
it was a Cowboy. And I want you to
Good
name,
tip.
last thing, name anyone in the NFL currently wearing the number 50 right now. Any
Sean
player.
Lee.
Yes, well done. G?
Well, he won. He
No, but there's others.
I don't pay...
I wrote down the ones that are sort of,
Well known?
somebodies, yeah, as
Okay.
opposed to nobodies.
All right.
I went through every team's roster. So,
Jeez.
can you name any others? They're all linebackers. There's one D tackle.
Huh.
I'll give you the other ones that I wrote down. KJ Wright, Blake Martinez, Telvin Smith is number 50. Justin Houston is number 50. The D tackle I wrote down, although he's not really setting the world on fire, is Vita Vea. Wears the number 50 as
man.
well.
He should be in a higher number. When you're that big,
Oh, yeah.
you can't fit into number 50.
Exactly right. All right. So, a little bit of fun. And we didn't mention drinks of the pod. G, what are you drinking?
Just drinking tonight. I'm drinking a Young and Henry's Cloudy Cider, which is, it's okay.
Nice.
It's a bit cloudy.
Cloudy cider.
Cloudy cider in a can, so I've sort of...
You can't really tell. You have to take their word for it.
It's a bit unrefined when you drink out of a can.
Yes, that's very true.
And AJ's on some cocktail that he's put
Gazpacho.
together. What is it?
Gazpacho.
Gazpacho.
Well,
He's on a health kick.
I'm on a health kick, so no alcohol for me.
No.
Jay saw what we tweeted. He said he was confused. He said it looked like I'd blended Bugs Bunny because I've
it
got
had
a carrot
in it. So.
a carrot sticking in it. But yeah, on a health kick, partially motivated by your good self, G, in ways, indirectly.
If I can motivate one person, that's great.
There you go.
Nothing not happening in my house, I can tell you. No motivation in there.
Let's get into the games, and obviously 3 games happened, well, today our time, yesterday your time, which we spoke about with the Thanksgiving games. So they're off the slate, and the Rams and the Chiefs are on a bye after, we didn't mention that, should we?
What a game.
One of the most brilliant games you have probably ever seen last week. It was amazing.
It was great. It was college football.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Played by pros.
Yeah.
It was, man, back and forth.
Yep.
But I was talking to a few people about it yesterday. I don't really like high-scoring games, and I saw a lot of people on Twitter, like kind of getting after people who like low-scoring football games. Like, how can you like low-scoring football games, yada, yada, yada. But listen, that game was great because there was also defense involved.
Yeah.
Defensive touchdowns were scored. There were sacks, there were fumble recoveries, there were interceptions. So not only was it an offensive affair, the defense got involved. So that game gave you everything. You know, it was a great game.
Paddy's probably thinking, it'd be nice if my defense helped me out a little bit more. That'd be nice.
Scandrick dropped that interception at the end of the game.
Yeah.
That was brutal. Hit him right in the hands.
Yep.
But by the same token, Paddy did give away, I think, 21 points.
He fumbled two. He fumbled 2 balls. And look. To be honest, the interception by Marcus Peters is a tip. Like his arm got hit. That's it goes down as an interception against him. But it was a fluttering ball, and Marcus Peters just had to be in the. Really, he was in no man's land, really, and it just fell into his lap. So,
it's like the law of probability. When you throw the ball that many times, you're going to throw an interception. You know.
And let's face it, like the last one was basically, look, he probably shouldn't have thrown to where he threw it. The ended the game. I don't know. I think it might have been Kelsey that was sort of to the right hand side of that and a bit shorter pass and could have got out of bounds. But that's it's Patrick Mahomes. That's what he does, and that's what we love about him as a quarterback. And we're looking forward to watching him for the next 15 years doing just what he's doing now.
Precisely.
And he's going to have games like this. So. What more can a guy do? Throw for that many yards, throw 6 TDs, and people knocking on him. Give us a spell.
If you have him on your fantasy roster, on a dynasty roster, you are in good shape.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my word.
We are. All right, so let's get into the games that are left over.
And we're going to keep it tight. So
keep it tight.
Keep it tight. And...
yes, it's very tight.
That's right. Well, G, you head us off with whatever you've got there.
Okay, so I've got the first one we've got up is the Bills and the Jags. So, mate, the Bills, it's amazing. The Bills, 1 week they're on the end of a 41-point drumming, and then the following week they were the one hand and the 41 points out. So this week they're up against the Jags. So it's going to be a little bit slightly different against the Jets D that they played last week. And really on the Bills side, we could go through this game pretty quickly. Like, Josh Allen's going to be back, but really no one's going to be starting Josh Allen. It's more about looking to him towards the future. Probably people that own him in Dynasty will be paying more attention to anybody playing in season league comp. LaShawn McCoy, last week, he bangs out 26 for 113 and 2 TDs. And look, the Jets on a whole were just absolutely atrocious. So he's going to find the sledding a lot harder this week. So, but look, it just goes to show he's a number 37 running back in standard. He's a number 35 in PPR. And look, PPR, he's giving you 10.3. Really, that's not a lot for someone like LaShawn McCoy. I don't know, maybe he's auditioning for another team for next year. Who knows? But look, he's going to get the volume, isn't he? So... You'd probably start him on that basis in running back to a flex position. Definitely that. The other guys, Marcus Murphy got 14 carries last week, but unless you're playing in really deep leagues and hoping he does something, that's the only place you'd play him. Zay Jones is what is Zay Jones? We're still trying to work that out.
I can never think of him differently. Did you remember that? Did you guys ever see that video of him?
No.
Yeah.
Dude, that video is one of the most disturbing videos I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
I haven't seen.
He's covered in blood in a hotel, like on the top floor,
naked,
on drugs, naked, trying to break through the window and jump.
Yep.
Really?
And his brother is, yes, it's very, very disturbing. It happened like maybe less than a year ago.
Okay. No, well, I haven't seen it.
I'll send it to you, man. Like, so I can't even think of him as a football player after watching that. Like, whoa, how do you rebound from that?
Well, there you go.
Like,
Schepps
good thing he did.
says
He's on the
no,
football field.
don't start him. But look, he leads the team targets, yards, TDs, receptions. But yeah, if that's if he's leading your team's in a lot of trouble. Kelvin Benjamin, he's so far down, mate. He's sitting inside the Titanic, and they haven't even raised that yet. And I don't know if they can raise Kelvin Benjamin.
He should be wearing number 50.
Yeah, he should be too. And outside that, Robert Foster had a good week last week, but who the hell's he? He's a rookie out of Alabama. Had four targets, 3 receptions, 105 yards. But, Charles Clay, got the bad hammies. The Jags are poor against tight ends. It's probably the only thing going for them. They ranked number 32 in the last 4 weeks, and they've given up 6 TDs in the last 4 weeks. But, yeah, good luck. If you're starting him, it's a wing and a prayer type thing. So we go to the Jags. Blake Bortles, the number 18 quarterback, averaging 15.6 a game. Mate, I looked at his strike rate at the moment for games away, which they are playing away at the Bills, is 50-50. So he's giving you a game of 13 and 10 on the road, and he's giving you a game of 20 and 21. So God knows where you're going to get at Blake Bortles, but mate, you must have someone better to start in your lineup than him. And the Bills against quarterbacks at home haven't been too bad. They've only given up 844 yards, 4 TDs and 2 interceptions, and they've played the likes of Rivers, Mariota, Brady, and Trubisky. So that's not bad for guys to hold to that fewer yards, really. And Rivers threw 3 of those touchdowns out of the 4. So there you go. Leonard Fournette, you're going to start, obviously. Not even worrying about that. Carlos Hyde, yep, okay, move on. And if you can tell me out of the wide receivers who the hell's going to catch the ball out of Cole, Westbrook and Moncrief, and that's the same discussion we have every week, you're a better man than I am. So maybe Moncrief out of the 3 of them is probably a flex flyer at best. He's sort of more in the view of Blake Bortles. So, that's it. Done.
Well done. All right, so I'll head off with the next one, G. So let's go Seahawks at Panthers. 2 teams that have got strong division opponents who have won their divisions already, which is kind of interesting. The Seahawks are 5-5. I wrote, can they get a wild card? Can they do it? Russell Wilson. It's a good matchup. It's a good chance for him to put up some strong numbers. He's a play for sure. Chris Carson is the running back I think that you still are rolling out there. He's coming off a nice game. And while Davis and Penny are stealing touches, it's Carson. He's really the one who's the number one. Mike Davis, Rashad Penny are both risky plays. Rashad Penny, despite showing some, I still don't think is the guy. Doug Baldwin could be 100% healthy. I mean, yeah, and you put him out there. For sure. Tyler Lockett, he can run a bit hot or cold. It's a nice matchup.
He's been more hot than cold, mate.
Yeah, so you definitely trot him out there. And the tight ends, you kind of, if you're desperate, Nick Vanette and Ed Dixon, they're just not getting a lot of targets or touches, really, but, tight end. On the Panthers side, the Panthers are 6-4. Cam's coming off a big game, but the Seahawks pass D is a good D. And his receivers aren't all that chop. But he can get it done with his legs, as we know, so he should be pretty good. And Christian McCaffrey, woohoo! Don't need to say much about him. In the Seahawks, run D is a bit iffy.
Christian McCaffrey's the moment. It's like if you're at a nightclub and just say he's a hot chick. He's not a hot chick, but and the bouncer sees it and walks up and just pulls you out of the line. You don't have to stand in line. You're straight in. That's what he's like in your fantasy street. Straight in the door.
Straight in. All the time. On the wide receiver front, though, it's a whole different story, and I don't really know what you do. You probably play none of the Panther wide receivers.
I'd go DJ Moore, if anybody.
Okay, so Devin Funchess, hey, hot and cold, best look for other options, and I think he's got an injured back too. And DJ Moore... Maybe if you have to roll the dice, you roll it on him. He's coming off a nice game. Again, it's going to be hit and miss. so don't really know. Greg Olsen did find the end zone last time, and he could get quite a few targets. He's probably the only other one that you will play.
Tep.
Yes.
It's a TEP policy.
Yeah,
we got a TEP policy, Schepps, which for tight ends, which stands for tight end pulse policy. So if they got a pulse and they're a tight end, they're probably starting.
Yeah,
that's like the wasteland that
that's
it is.
A good one.
That's how.
Okay, Schepps, pick any one of your games and
fire
hit
away.
us with it.
I'm going to go with the Bengals and the Browns. Bengals and the Browns, which is basically a running back matchup. you got Mixon, you're starting him. Duke Johnson, PPR, you're starting him. Nick Chubb, who's been breaking out, you start him. And you might have missed your window to trade for Nick Chubb, but if the window's still open, if the team who owns him lives under a rock, then you can go out and try to trade for him because the kid looks good. Tyler Boyd for the Bengals, he's been pretty disappointing. I picked him up in a few leagues, and he was money when A.J. Green was there, and you figure with A.J. Green out, Tyler Boyd should even get more targets.
Could be back this week, Schepps. Looks like he might play this week, A.J. Green.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. Yeah, but I'm seeing somewhere where it says he's out. Him and Kirkpatrick are out, but you won't really know till Sunday. I mean, there's 2 more days, so it's possible. But so if AJ Green's there, I think Boyd actually takes an uptick rather than a knock down. But with AJ Green not there, you got to start him. But he's been pretty hit or miss. The tight ends in this game, I guess Njoku, he's kind of he's been teetering on breakout. But now, over the last 3 or 4 weeks, he's been teetering more towards not breaking out. You know what I mean? Like when the season started, he was about 10 PPR points, 11 PPR points, and now he's like 8 or 7. So I'm just waiting for that game where he goes for 70 yards, 5 catches and a touchdown. And that's the type of player he is, but he hasn't gotten there yet. So hopefully him and Baker start connecting. Landry's been disappointing, but you got to start him if you have him. Mayfield, we got Dalton. Both players aren't too inspiring, but you're starting them. And then with the defenses, the Bengals defense has been a shit show this season. They're not the Cincinnati, they don't belong in the AFC East. That division normally is full of tough defenses, stingy defenses, great against the run. And the Bengals, I think they're like 28th in the NFL right now, which is not something you would expect. So that's my breakdown.
Perfect. Gee.
All right, let's move on. Oof, what a game. What a game we got here. We've got the Jets and the Pats. We could pretty much skip the Jets because McCown's going to be rolling out again this week.
Is he?
At the moment, it looks that way. Keep an eye on it. Really going to start either of them, him or Darnold? You're not going to start either of them, really. And does it really affect anybody that's playing? Probably not. No. So Crowell this year has been a serious boom or bust type player. I
feel like whenever I sit him, he breaks out. Whenever I start him, it's the bust.
Oh no! Look, in week 5 he has 29 fantasy points. I think that was in standard, and since then he's given you 5.2, 5, 3.8, 6, and 9.7. That's because he got a touchdown. So it's just. Yeah, and the Pats have only allowed 2 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. So if you're going to start a running back, you'd be looking at Elijah Maguire is the guy that looks the best out of the 2 of them, without a doubt. And look, they're going to run him because they really want to see what they've got in him after not starting the first part of the season. So they only had 1 less carry leading into the bye week over Crowell. So, yeah, he'd probably be the one to start at the moment. If you're starting Crowell, it's just like, oh, my God, please give me a touchdown.
Yep.
Or break off one big run because that's how he's been scoring his fantasy points.
Can I go a bit off script here real quickly? Do you think Le'Veon Bell will end up in New York next year?
I hope not.
Crowell, he has an out in his contract. They could cut him next year and save $6 million. I mean, they could be trying out Elijah Maguire to see if he's the guy. I mean, the Jets are going to have a lot of money.
Yeah, but it would come down to, does Bell want the money? Yes. And maybe if he just wants the money, mate, go the Jets.
Yes,
If you just want to run in the team and never go anywhere, and look, they're not going to be that good. They're
evident.
The wide receivers are. Well, I've got down here. You can't start any of them because you just can't.
No.
Darnold still needs a lot of work. Is he going to be any better with Lev Bell there? Maybe. They got Chris Herndon, who I've got down here, who's been great in the last 5 weeks, giving you 210 yards and 3 TDs and 39 fantasy points in total. But mate, he could be Schepps if whoever gives him the most money, that's where he's going to go.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about him a little bit later down the track, actually. Okay. And let's go to the Pats side. It's pretty easy. You're starting Brady. You'd be starting Sonny Michel. He's had the extra week off, with the bye week to get the knee good. He's good. James White, you're starting. Probably he's a flex in the RB2. Probably a little bit of a downtick now with Michel back, but he's just one of those guys who just keeps, get inside the 20, and he's on the field. There's a good chance he's getting the ball. Wide receivers and tight ends for the Pats. Josh Gordon, I'm going to roll out Josh Gordon this week, and he's become the vertical guy in New England. So goodbye Chris Hogan, who's totally disappeared. But this is one of those. I got this really sneaky feeling that this is like a Chris Hogan game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's done nothing. I think he's had like one target in the last 2 weeks. He's given you 2 donuts. I just got this feeling in my water.
Probably not a Gronk game, I'll tell you that.
It might be that, or just it could be this drink that I've been having. I'm not too sure. Cordell Patterson, you can't start now, especially with the 2 backs they've got with Sonny Michel coming back, because all his fantasy points came from...
Gadget guy.
It came from the run game.
Yeah.
Dorset, no. And Gronk, you're still running him out on there on name cachet because what he can do. So, he comes in the TEP policy, but, he is Gronk.
Yep.
How about people who traded for Gronk before this year? I'm a tight end away. All I've needed is a tight end who could score me lots of points. They go out and they trade for Gronk, and then they're getting this. Good thing that's not me.
There were warning signs in the offseason, though, in fairness, weren't there? So if you traded for him, it was...
Buyer beware.
Buyer beware. Yep. Well done. Man, I don't really want to talk about this game, but let's go Raiders at Ravens. The 2-8 Raiders.
You can't.
What?
You can't.
Can't play any.
No, you can't start any Raiders.
Jared Cook, you can start.
Oh, sorry, 1.
There you go. I just wrote, can they just forfeit, please? Can they just stop mucking around? Yes. Okay. To cut a long story short, you can't play any Raider. Jared Cook's about the only guy that you can really legitimately put in there.
What about Carl Joseph? Is he whatever happened to him on the IDP spectrum?
He actually had a good game.
Is he
last week?
A thing? I know. Why is he? I don't get it. Everything I see from the guy is he looks like a player.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like he's getting opportunity. It doesn't look like he's out there a lot.
It's the same thing as you could probably say about Amari Cooper. Obviously, the coaching staff not that enamored with Carl Joseph, who's an absolute gun. He's going to maybe be released at the end of the year and go somewhere and just light it up. Honestly. The guy is a talent, and I don't know why he's not being used. But he had a good game. Maybe that's just he's going to break through. And
I'd like the Raiders to let people go and they light it up.
No, I don't.
Oh, man. Cooper. I haven't seen that much explode. 90-yard touchdown yesterday.
Yeah, man. It's looking like a very good pickup now. What do you reckon, Cowboys fan?
Oh, I like it. I like it for a first.
Yeah.
Especially one that's going to be like 16, 17.
Yeah.
We're not... No way at 17 are you going to guarantee me a receiver who can do what he did.
No.
So I was against it, but now I like it.
Yeah, that's right. The Ravens. Let's go to the Ravens side. And I wrote down, how long do they stick with Lamar Jackson? It's a big question because the Ravens at 5-5 are legitimately in the playoff hunt. I think 5-5 in the AFC right now gets you a wild card as the standings are right this second. Lamar Jackson, he's going to get the start again certainly this week, and the Raiders D, good matchup for Lamar Jackson. His ability as a runner alone is going to get him a ton of points, gives him a very high floor. I was going to say low ceiling. No, high floor right from the get-go. Gus Edwards, who is this guy? No one really knows. He's a risky play for that reason, but he does seem to combine with Lamar Jackson reasonably well, and who knows?
Is that goodbye, Alex
you could
Collins?
Roll the dice, yeah, maybe goodbye, Alex Collins, although as I said, it's an excellent matchup. If you can strike gold with either, I mean, Alex Collins just as risky, but if you put Gus Edwards in, you probably get points from him from this matchup without any trouble.
A lot of people spent a lot of blind bid money on him this week.
They certainly did. Now, the only thing is, I am a big fan of Lamar Jackson long term, but I don't know that you'd be starting any of the Ravens wide receivers short term.
Not based on what you saw last week.
No. So Crabtree, Brown, and Snead, I think you just got to find better options. Hard to trust any of them. And same with the tight ends, Hayden Hurst and Mark Andrews. They're just not getting used enough. So that's it. That's that game in a nutshell. It's going to be crap. The only reason I'm really interested is really Lamar Jackson. That's my area of interest. All right. Schepps.
All right, Chargers versus Cardinals, which is one side is going to be good and one side is going to be bad. Rosen, he's going through his bumps right now. David Johnson at running back for the Cardinals has been disappointing. You still start him. Fitzgerald's been disappointing. Ricky Seals-Jones has been disappointing, but like you said, he's got a pulse, so you got to start him. He's a guy that I was overly high on, and I'm looking pretty dumb about right now. And then Keenan Allen, I kind of worry about him going against Patrick Peterson. This really hasn't been a Keenan Allen season. You know, I'm used to him getting like 12 targets, 8 catches, so that's 8 PPR points right there. And then if he gets 80, 90 yards, that's 17, a touchdown. I'm used to like 25-point games, and he's more doing about 14-point games. And this isn't really a great matchup for him going against Patrick Peterson because I don't think Keenan Allen is like a technician. He's not a guy who's going to kill you with speed. And I feel like Patrick Peterson matches up very well against technicians. So this is a tough matchup for him. So you might look Tyrell Williams. Tight end, you got Gates, who he's got a pulse, and he can score touchdowns. So you're going to start him. Melvin Gordon, he's been very consistent this year. You're starting Phil Rivers. And that defense now, that Chargers defense, I know a lot of teams don't, a lot of leagues might not be starting defenses. But if they do, that Chargers defense is a must start this week. We got Bosa back. Melvin Ingram's playing well. And then also, what's that guy's name who started playing? He came back 2 or 3 weeks ago, a linebacker for the Chargers.
Latavius Murray. Jatavius Brown.
I was like, what?
I don't know.
Latavius Brown. If you were able to get him, or if you have him, you start him. Derwin James has been money. You start him. So it's a tough matchup for the Cardinals. It's not going to be a very interesting football game. But basically, there's a lot of players in the Chargers that you can't start. And you got to start Davis Johnson and Ricky Seals-Jones from the Cardinals.
I don't know why I thought of Latavius Murray. What name come into my head? Jatavius Brown. Yep, that's the guy.
Okay, move on.
Next
game.
Yes.
Okay, so we got the Dolphins v. the Colts. Woo, what a game. No. On the Dolphins side, looks like Tannehill's back this week, but no one's going to be starting Ryan Tannehill. Sorry. Frank Gore, look, he leads the team, but I looked at his points. If you're happy with 6 fantasy points a week, mate, he's your man. He's basically your guy. He had a 100-yard game in week 6, and he had a 90-yard game last time out, and that's pretty much about all he's done all season with all the carries that he's got. He's roughly around about 6 fantasy points he's given you in standard league, and a good game out of him is pretty much at the moment as rare as I just said AJ buying a drink for the pod, which I don't think he's done yet this year. But the other guy in the backfield obviously is Kenyon Drake, but at this point, he's no better. He's had a couple of absolutely booming weeks. From week 5 to 8, he had a 17.5, a 14.7, and a 21.5. Now, in the last 4 weeks, he hasn't reached anything. He's been an absolute dud. So, do I see it improving? This Colts defense has been a lot better than people have given credit for. They're feisty. They're getting amongst it. They're actually quite quick across the ground. And this is what happens when you get your quarterback back, your team gets on a roll, your offense gets on a roll, your defense starts to follow. Sometimes the defense and the offense follows, but we're seeing in leagues now, like we see, unfortunately it doesn't happen in Kansas City, but we see the buzz that's created by an offense that can move the ball down the field. And this is what's happening with the Colts now, with Andrew Luck back and what they're doing. So, if Tannehill's quarterbacking, mate, Danny Amendola is about the only way he can start as a flex spot in PPR, but I don't reckon with Tannehill he can even start him in that position. Albert Wilson, Kenny Stills would probably be the best. Kenny Stills would probably be the best option. His best weeks were with Tannehill.
Yeah.
Because Tannehill will throw down the field, but I can't trust Kenny Stills to put him even...
It's been disappointing.
Really deep leagues, like going deep.
Yep.
Devontae Parker, nope. And nope. And the TEP policy is not required for the Dolphins at all, because they ain't got one. On the Colts side, you're going to start Andrew Luck, aren't you? Because they've given up some the lowest points the Dolphins have given up this year. They've given up 27, 38, 31, 32, 31 and 42 points. Yeah, so you're starting Andrew Luck because he's been averaging around about 21.2 and he's had a season high of 35.6. Roll him out. No problems there. Marlon Mack, yes, you're starting 20 touches in the last 3 weeks, averaging 133 yards in those games. The Dolphins average 4.85 yards a carry to running backs, so 28th against the run. They've given up the third most yards. And here's an example. Some of the guys in the last couple of weeks have given up yards to Aaron Jones last week, 15 carries, 145 yards, 2 TDs. Lamar Miller, 18 for 133 and 1. Kerryon Johnson, 19 for 158. And a bit further back before that, Sonny Michel, 25 for 112. Jordan Wilkins, he may get a few carries in this game if they sort of get a bit of a lead. You might see him, but are you going to risk that? Probably not. Naheem Hines, he's given you 10.4 in PPR. He's the 28th running back. And look, 1/3 of the fantasy points the Dolphins have given up to running backs that have come from pass catching backs. So he may be a flex starter if you need to with other teams on buys. As far as the receivers, T.Y. Hilton, yes. Grant Rogers, no. Ebron, coming off a week he re-gave you zip, and zip. But the TEP policy applies there. Jack Doyle, same thing. And we've seen Andrew Luck loves his tight ends. And if you're going to put money on tight end to score with Andrew Luck, it's going to happen every week. So,
yeah, sounds good. All right, let me do my next one. Packers at Vikings. This will be a good one, maybe, hopefully. Packers at 4-5-1, and I wrote, is it time to relax yet, Aaron? Should we relax? I feel like we're a little bit past that. I feel like it's...
Yes.
Yeah, it's past the time of relax and you're done.
Aaron Rodgers can go kick rocks. That's what he can do.
Now, he's facing, obviously, A-Rod.
Mike McCarthy might be breaking him into small pieces. Not because he'd be in prison, but because he'd be looking for a new job.
That's right.
Maybe on the road gang.
Vikings pass D is very good, more than capable of getting the job done. But you start Aaron Rodgers regardless. Aaron Jones has started to step up.
Yes.
He's going to have to bring his A game. Vikings run D's pretty good, but he's the guy. Jamal Williams is just a handcuff now. Forget him. Devontae Adams. Vikings secondary's good, but Adams he's a bit like a king with money in the bank. Oh, hang on. We could turn that into maybe King Money. That's a good saying, King Money. What do you reckon? Randall Cobb, forget what?
I have no
that
idea.
That fell flat.
Yeah, I didn't know he thought that.
I worked on that for a good while, I tell you. So, Randall Cobb, I just wrote, refer to MVS. Okay, MVS, coming off a quiet day, and he's got a tough matchup. But, he's worth kind of putting him out there.
No, he's done nothing since week 1.
No,
absolute squat.
Who, MVS?
No.
Cobb. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying MVS has basically made Cobb irrelevant now. So Randall Cobb is done. Jimmy Graham has a broken thumb. Initial reports had him out 4 to 6, but he's hopeful to find a way to play. I'm not sure how that's going to work.
Yeah, probably move on.
Maybe not. And the other tight ends for the Packers are no. Mercedes, Lewis, Lance, Kendricks. Forget it. Look somewhere else. Vikings at 5-4-1. Good teams get better in December. They can hold that. They've got a defense. They've got an offense. They just kind of need to step up. They can do it. Kirk Cousins, in week 2 versus the Pack, he had a massive game. Will he step up in this game, a big rivalry game? I reckon the answer is a big yes. Ooh. He will. Dalvin Cook was quiet last week. Whole Vikings running game was. But the Packers D is going to be like a tonic. If Dalvin Cook's sick in bed, he's going to take the little magic tonic. He's going to leap out of bed, go running down the street, back in business. Latavius Murray's very TD dependent. You can't really start him. He's a handcuff, really. Adam Thielen is a little dinged up. Just keep an eye on his status, but absolutely you start him, of course. Stephon Diggs coming off a huge game, and in week 2 he had 9 catches for 128 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he's a definite start. And Kyle Rudolph kind of disappoints, but again, it's the TEP thing. You might just have to play him. But he's almost the most disappointing aspect of the Vikings offense. Okay, Schepps.
All right, 49ers, Bucks. So Matt Breida, I'm starting him at running back. I mean, being a Matt Breida owner is very tough because every single week he has an injury designation, and every single game you see him go out at least once a little banged up, and you don't know when he's coming back. So, but you are starting him. I don't know if you start this. I can't even remember this kid's name, this quarterback that's
Mullins?
filling in for Beathard, who's filling in. Yes, Mullins, who's filling in for Beathard, who's filling in for Garoppolo.
Yeah.
In a Superflex league, I guess you're going to start him because the Buccaneers, they like to play like 40 to 50 football games. They haven't quite got there yet, like the Kansas City Chiefs and the LA Rams, but they're of that mold. They would prefer to, score 90 points in a game. So you're going to start him if you're in a PPR league. I'm sorry, Superflex league, because like I said, that there's just going to be balls aired out. George Kittle, he is not only a tight end with a pulse, he is a phenomenal tight end. So he's a must start. He's like the Christian McCaffrey of tight ends, where the security guard is pointing him out of the line and saying, you're in. You don't need to wait on line.
Just quickly, Chef, before we move on with Kittle, when we come next year to the draft, where does he rank amongst tight ends? What number he's going to be at?
I think he's going to be a top 3 tight end for sure.
At least. Could be 2.
I mean, he might be 1, but Evan Ingram, I'm very disappointed.
Yeah.
He's got the chops to be a top 3 tight end, and he's a guy that I'm still holding out for.
Oh, yeah.
So that'll be interesting, but definitely Kittle's up there. Right now, I just can't think of any. Hunter Henry, obviously, is up there, but he's probably 5, because he can't stay healthy. So it's interesting. It's definitely interesting, but Kittle's probably number 1 or number 2 right now. I'm trying to think who else on the 49ers. Goodwin, hit or miss. I think just everybody at wide receiver on that roster is hit or miss. Dante Pettis has been very disappointing this year. He hasn't been able to get going once Garoppolo got hurt. With the Bucs, clearly you're starting Mike Evans. Peyton Barber had a great outing last week, so I think you can start him. It's going to Winston, so you're going to start him if it's Superflex league. You might even be able to start him if it's one quarterback league, if he's your only option. Who else we got? Now OJ Howard's hurt, so if you were able to pick up Brait early in the year, or if you have Brait, the Brait breakout is coming. This is the Brait breakout week, so I think you're going to start him. Deshaun Jackson, he's hit or miss, so I think you've been getting that all year, so you can decide whether or not you want to go with that. Chris Godwin's been pretty borderline. Adam Humphries has been pretty borderline. So those are all guys that you could start if you needed to, because you don't know who's going to get the points this week. But I think Brait, Evans, Peyton Barber, those are probably guys that are definitely going to get you some points this week. So those are guys you can be comfortable rolling out there. So that's it.
Okay, one word. I'm going to give you 3 names. Who do you start? Graham, Njoku, Brait.
Brait, I reckon.
Okay.
Okay.
Man.
I'll move him into my lineup. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Okay, let's move on. So we got the Texans and the Titans. So the Texans, a divisional game, which are always good.
Yep.
And the Texans are going for the 8th straight win.
Are they really?
They are.
Wow.
They are. Deshaun Watson is the number 12 quarterback at the moment. And they played each other in week 2. And he had 310 yards, 2 TDs, 1 interception, 44 yards on the ground, and gave you 22.8 fantasy points. So Look, he's had a few problems with turnovers. It's something they really got to work on. But, look, you're going to roll him out there this week, especially with guys like Mahomes and Goff. You may have him in there with them, so you're rolling him out. Lamar Miller, look, you're going to start Lamar Miller. He had 68 yards, no TDs against the Titans in week 2, but in the last 4 weeks, excluding the bye, he's given you 15.9, 19.3, 4.8 and 10.8. So you're definitely starting him. It could be a little bit tough sledding against the run D of the Titans, but mate, you're going to give it a go. Like, who's going to get touches off him? Alpha Brew? I think not. So on the wide receiving side, Hopkins, thank you very much. Start him. Kiki QT, bit of a... AJ's a bit of a fan.
Yeah.
Flex.
Yep.
Start him in deeper leagues, obviously. He leads the Texans in targets and yards last week.
Oh.
And look, Watson needs a second target now that they're down to basically just the two of them, aren't they?
Sure, yeah.
Yes. As far as tight ends goes, you got Griffin, Jordan, the two Thomases. Griffin leads in targets and yards, but has 0 TDs. Jordan, on the other hand, has half the amount of targets than Griffin's had, but he has 3 TDs. Mate, if you can pick which one you're going to roll out, I can't even put the TEP policy in there because I don't think either of them are worth it. And look, and in the end, the Titans have number 1 against tight ends. They've only allowed 3.3 fantasy points per game, and they've only given up 338 yards and no TDs to a tight end so far this season.
Wow.
On the Titans side, well, this is a question. Mariota's been limited in practice, so something you're going to have to keep your eye on. Is he a little bit soft?
Last week was terrible.
He seems to get hurt. It seems to be with Mariota so far in his career. It seems like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. He hasn't had. He gets
and when
injured.
he plays the Cowboys, he looks like a star.
Roger Staubach.
He killed us, and then oh man, he looked phenomenal. He was making throw after throw after throw.
So
whatever. That's about the Cowboys.
It's about. That's all right, mate. So look, Blaine Gabbert. Do you start Blaine Gabbert? No, even though he did lead the Titans to a victory over the Texans last time. But, mate, if you're going to throw for 117 yards, 1 TD ain't going to cut it this week, I don't think, the way the role that the Texans are on. Corey Davis, look, this is a personal opinion, and I can give it because this is my pod, or our pod, sorry, AJ. But I am seriously sick of people talking this bloke up. I am absolutely had my do myself in. I just, he's so overrated. Everybody's, you got to play Corey Davis. You got to play him. He's a definite starter. Let me tell you, he's given you 2 games this year, 18.5 and 22.1. Fantastic. These are his other games he's given you. 6, 5, 3, 5, 2, 1, 6, and 3. Is that a guy that, if it wasn't Corey Davis, it was Joe Bloggs, that gave you 2 great weeks, would you be talking about him? Hell no. You'd be kicking him to the corner of the curb. So, mate, if you want to go start Corey Davis, you can go and do it, but, mate, I'm not doing it. Taywan Taylor, he's dealing with a foot injury, so keep an eye on that. I can't start anybody on this offense. Tajay Sharp, you could wish upon a star for that. His week 8 numbers were 7 from 9 targets for 101 yards. Yeah, good luck. Probably the only guy I might start is Jono Smith. He's looking really good. Looks a really athletic guy. Good to see him getting a bit of a start and showing a bit more of his potential. We liked him coming out. So definitely probably more of a PPR option there. And look, he had his season high of 8 targets last week, so they probably realised that we've got to start getting the guy the ball a bit more. As far as running backs, because I actually forgot about talking about him, so I had to put him in here at the end. Dion Lewis, flex. Look, mate, and he looks a hell of a lot better than Derek Henry, who's just an absolute waste of space. Unless you're at the 1 yard line, he's useless. And I can't guarantee that the Titans are going to get the ball down to the 1 yard line.
I was going to say, you have to get to the 1.
Yeah, exactly. Mate, I honestly, he looks that goddamn slow. I'm really surprised that if he's in the league much longer. And I put down here, you look at a guy like Bo Scarborough, but basically around sort of the same sort of size, same sort of running.
Yeah,
mate, Bo Scarborough runs harder And I can tell you, mate, he's a hell of a lot bloody quicker than Derek Henry is. And the guy can't get a game. I think he's on the... I'm trying to think who's he's on.
It's not the Cowboys, is it?
No, he's not on the Cowboys anymore. He's on somebody else's roster now, on the practice squad. It'll come to me. But anyway, there you go. I've had a bit of a...
Vent.
I had a bit of a vent.
Okay.
I like it.
Schepps, who you got?
It's all right to vent every now and then. I got the Steelers and the Broncos. So Philip Lindsay, the GOAT. You're starting him. We'll start off right there. I think he's the most exciting name in this game. Even though Royce Freeman's back, I'm not worried about Royce Freeman. I think next year it'll be more to worry about because the luster of Lindsay might wear off, and then there might be more of a battle because they spent more money on Freeman. So next year you got to worry about it. But this year I think they're going to continue to ride the hot hand. So as long as no injuries happen, Lindsay's the dude down the stretch. Now at wide receiver for Denver, let's stick to Denver right now. Cortland Sutton is emerging there. Emmanuel Sanders still is the guy, but Cortland Sutton is emerging, and he's definitely a start. Deshaun Hamilton, his time hasn't come yet. I think we need to wait till next year. At quarterback, I don't know. I'm not a Keenum guy. I was a Chad Kelly guy, but Chad Kelly did himself in around Halloween time, so he got cut, and he's not going to get an opportunity there, but I think the opportunity was coming, so that's very disappointing. Now, that's my rant. Tight end, I couldn't even tell you who's tight end in Denver, but
Jeff
they
Hyman.
probably have a pulse. So, Jeff Hyman. I mean, what do you guys think? You starting him or
I
not?
giggle every time I say his name.
Not not Jeff Hyman. Hyman.
Sorry. No, mate, I'm 50s. I've got to keep some sort of youth about me, don't I?
Yeah.
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah, so let's keep it rolling. We're going to Pittsburgh. You're starting Roethlisberger. You're starting James Conner. James Conner had a down week last week, so I think you need to expect him to bounce back. But Denver's Russian defense is pretty stifling. Their linebackers aren't what they used to be. Their front four isn't what it used to be, but they're still pretty tough. And I think they're going to go into this week expecting to be tough because when you're playing a team like Pittsburgh, you're not going to beat them looking fast and flashy. You're going to beat them looking tough. You got to go to their game. You got to play their game. So Connor might have another tough week, but you got to start him. Obviously, Antonio Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Vance McDonald. He's the emerging name out of Pittsburgh right now. So I think you can start him as well. So this game is going to be, this is going to be the opposite, I think, of Kansas City and LA. I think this is going to be a tough, hard-fought game. I think Pittsburgh is going to go into this game and it's going to be a little tougher than they expected. I think Denver is going to bring it to them. So this might be one of the games of the week. But that's it.
Flash Vance, because he's a maniac.
I just Flash Vance.
It just popped into my head. Sorry. I don't know what does that.
That's not a bad... He could pick that up.
He could. There you go.
Man, that's... Okay, now I don't have any more games left.
That's it. Okay, so we're going to go into our...
Have you got a game?
No, done.
Is that
finished.
it?
Yeah, we're finished.
Oh,
Through.
Wow.
Good because the kids are all starting to get anxious out here. They're throwing stuff. I keep putting my mic on mute. They let the dog into the cat's room, so the dog was going after the cat for 1 minute, but you wouldn't know because I'm professional and I know how to use the mute button, but shit's been getting wild.
Oh, you know what? I heard a cat meow and I thought it was just in my head. But anyway, so now that does kind of explain it. Let's jump into the next thing, G. Thanksgiving.
Bit of a segment.
Instead of thinking of things we're thankful for this year, we thought we'd just put a little bit of a twist on it and say things we want to be thankful for next year.
Yes.
Right. So, G, do you want to lead us off with yours?
Okay, we've got three. So my first one, look, I'll leave my Homer one till last,
okay,
if you don't mind. So, look, my first one would be, it'd help if you still followed the Chargers, AJ, but you don't. You abandoned ship, and the ship hasn't sunk, but it's taken on water. And the Chargers in LA, I'd really like to see them go back to San Diego, but we all know that's not going to happen. But look, after last week's game, particularly, I think they were losing the battle, but the game between the Rams and the Chiefs really probably put a cannonball right through the whole of the ship, didn't it, really? I think they would have gained a hell of a lot of traction just off that game alone. You saw the crowd that was there. It was packed. It was like a USC game. That's how many people were there, and that's the first time we've really seen the Coliseum. And look, we know it's because they came to see Pat Mahomes and this offense as well, but they still came and they saw the Rams get up and they saw them put up 54 points. So, yeah, probably gained a lot of traction there. Look, it's hard for them too, the Chargers. They're playing at StubHub. They only hold 27,000. So I started to do a few little bit of a numbers just to see, looking around the attendance. So when they were in San Diego, they were roughly over an 8-year period, roughly around 64 to 65,000 people a game on average.
Yeah.
In 2017 at StubHub, it dropped down to 25, 300 roughly. But then again, it only holds 27,000 people.
Sure. But they're not selling it out.
They haven't sold it out once since they've been there. And this year they're down roughly the same, 25-3, basically the same. Now, just to put into comparison, who's the number one attending support base?
Oh, in the whole league?
In NFL. Just to give you a comparison.
Number one, you mean at their
attendance.
At their home stadium?
Yes.
I'd be willing to say Pittsburgh?
Seattle.
Schepps. It would be the Dallas
Seattle.
Cowboys.
Oh.
They averaged 92,721. That's the average.
Well, that's because our stadium is like a shopping mall, and it's like considered like a lot of fans from other fan bases try to get out to Dallas.
And it is a bigger stadium.
It's a game to get to.
It is, and it's a bigger stadium. It can hold more people, but the fact is that if you can't sell out a 27,000 stadium, and let's face it, there's Melvin Gordon has said, I think he said last year, it's hard to come here and you feel like you're playing an away game every time you play at home.
Yeah.
So if you can't do that, what the hell's going to happen when you move into a bigger stadium and you got more empty seats?
Yeah.
You know what'll help? Going to the Super Bowl this year.
Hey, you're not going to go to the Super Bowl.
I don't want to kill your bit, but the Chargers could go, man. The Chargers could go.
Well, they're going to need it, I can tell you right now. So that was one of mine, was the Chargers moving back to San Diego. I don't think it's too late. Nice. I don't think it's too late.
Well, on a related point, I said I want LA to embrace the Rams properly. And look, we're on the way because the Chiefs-Rams game, as you mentioned, so, it's kind of... But I was sort of thinking about a Rams game. Now, we were trying to pin down which one it was. We think it was the Packers, like a few weeks ago. I remember when I was watching the broadcast, when Aaron Rodgers, completed a fantastic pass, you'd hear a big cheer up from the crowd, and it was loud. And, when the Rams offense was on the park, again, there was a lot of crowd noise. And I was thinking, what on earth is... And it took me a while to figure out that actually it was in LA. I thought for a minute it might have been at Lambeau. That's how partisan the crowd was for the Packers. So I think that's what I want to see. I want to see LA embrace this Rams team properly, like full on. Come on, get on board.
Well, they've got a great team for to do it, haven't they? They're giving you that you're not going to get a better team in LA.
No.
We got two teams in there. And look, at the moment, you're a bit sport. You got two good teams.
Yeah.
But you got this one offensive juggernaut.
My word.
With a quarterback that's not going to be gone in a few years as well.
No.
Something else working against the Chargers.
Well,
yes.
My first one isn't about the Rams or the Chargers. So I want to see Tom Brady retire, right? And I want to see Bill Belichick leave the Patriots and go back to where it all started in Cleveland.
Ooh.
And help rebuild the Cleveland Browns with Baker Mayfield, with the young, tough, physical, up-and-coming defense, and take the Cleveland Browns to prominence.
To the Super Bowl.
That's what I want to see.
And then he's going to hug the...
Well, not year one, but I want to see Belichick, really... Like I want to see like a good 5-10 year stretch where the Cleveland Browns become a team that's very hard to beat, a team that's in the playoffs regularly, and a team that might win a Super Bowl within the next 10 years. That's what I want to see. I want to be thankful for that next year.
I've got a vision of him hugging the Lombardi Trophy with tears in his eyes. This is for you, Cleveland.
Yeah.
Who did that?
With Baker Mayfield on his side.
LeBron did it.
Okay. Yeah. I don't follow
There you go.
basketball. But look, I reckon that's a great one, Schepps. But in reality, how long has he got left? So he goes to, like you said, 10 years. He's not going to be. Do you reckon he's going to be coaching in 10 years' time? Look, it's a possibility.
Coughlin did it.
Yeah. And look, he
a guy like him who football's been his life.
Yep.
Ever, like, you know, his dad was like one of the first original scouts. Like, he grew up around football, so it's all he knows. He's 66 years old, so do I think he's going to be doing it till he's 76? Doubtful. That's maybe 4 or 5 more years.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. At least put him on the right track.
He's still riding his bike in Nantucket. You know, he's still riding his bike. I saw him this summer, so, you know, I mean, if he's still young enough to ride a bicycle, he's still young enough to coach.
Do you get a photo? Then you get to add it to you could be mates with Bill Belichick and Matt Patricia.
No, I mean, I don't know. Matt Patricia would probably get upset.
He probably would.
You know,
get jealous.
He'd probably get a little jealous. So.
Okay.
Hey, I saw a trailer the other day for a Clint Eastwood film.
True, and he looks old.
He looks old.
He directs.
Oh yeah, he's old.
He doesn't even look old enough to act in it. And
He's directing
direct
and
Get out of here.
acting in it. Yeah, my word. Okay,
yeah, I doubt that. They just threw his name on it. No way he directed that film.
The second thing I wrote down is I said I want the Raiders to make sense. I just want this time next year I'd like to be able to say I don't care if they go 0-16, but you go 0-16 with a plan. I think that fans are a lot more understanding of that. But when you play this badly and do this badly and it doesn't seem like there's logic behind what's going on, that's what pisses you off.
And then you jeopardise your first pick overall with winning last week. That's not helping.
Well, no. You just
but
want to
then
see
the Giants are winning. The Giants need a quarterback, and they're winning, which is stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Raiders still. I don't know. The Niners don't need a quarterback, so they shouldn't be worried about them. The Cardinals don't need a quarterback. So I mean, does Oakland? Do they want a quarterback, or that's what it seems like? Is that what do you think?
Well, if you look at Carr, you look at what goes on the sideline. I don't know if they get. I know you're going to have got two very strong personality guys, and you're gonna clash. But mate, they're having yellow match and Carr's walking past him, and Gruden's yelling at him or whatever. He's getting all upset, and he's just walking straight past him. And he did it last week.
I heard Carr is a little soft. I don't know if that's true, but I heard he doesn't take the coaching very well.
He may be. He may be. All right. Well,
what do you want? What do you want, AJ? Do you want a quarterback, or would that be part of making sense, or do you want to see them build around Carr?
I want to see them build around Carr because I think they've got too many areas of need. I'd rather see them get one of the real stud edge rushers.
Edge rusher would be good.
Mm-hmm. Bosa or Oliver. Well, Oliver's really a D tackle, so really probably Bosa would be the guy.
I wonder if Bosa is going to pull an Eli and cry if the Raiders draft him because he doesn't want to be in the same division as his brother. Boo-hoo, Mommy and Daddy. Make the team trade me. I don't want to play against my brother. Ah, man.
You go where you're told.
Exactly. That's right.
All right. My second one is, we can discuss this because I don't really know the implications of what would be of this one, but there is no time limit on the trade period. It can happen through the entire season.
Oh, right. Okay.
So
sounds good to me.
So you have teams that are really contending, and they lose a piece right at the end.
Yep.
And it'd be interesting to see some of the teams that would go on at the absolute fire sale, wouldn't they?
Oh,
at the death knell.
Yeah.
Could you imagine some of the turnovers? It'd be like the great fires of Rome, in 64 AD, or London had a couple of crackers, and Chicago had an absolute beauty in 1871. It'd be one of those fire sales where it burned the whole goddamn
Do you know how
city
big
down.
the Great Fire of London was?
Yeah, it was huge.
Oh, ridiculous.
The whole of Rome pretty much burned as well. And let's face it, that's a pretty good effort, seeing there's a lot of stone. Stone doesn't burn that well.
No.
But anyway, what do you think of that? Because I can't see what the implications
I like
would be.
that one.
I like it.
I think that's practical. I think it's practical. So I like it.
Schepps, you got another one?
Yes, I'd like to be thankful about Dallas Cowboys signing Earl Thomas in the offseason because we have a young up-and-coming defense. We got pass rushers, we got linebackers, we got corners, but we are missing a vocal leader with Sean Lee on the sideline. And Sean Lee's not much of a talker. He's more watch what I do rather than tell you what he's going to do. You know what I mean? He leads by example.
Yep.
I think Earl Thomas who's played under Chris Richard, who Chris Richard has been, a blessing to this Cowboys defense. He's a fiery guy. He's turned Byron Jones into a CB1, So Earl Thomas has played for him before. He can be a vocal leader on the field. I'd like to see Earl Thomas healthy for a season in Dallas with that young up-and-coming defense. I'd like to see them truly emerge as, a number one defense, not just a fluke, like a one-year thing. I want to see them consistent. I want to see them play tough, fast, and I'd like to see Earl Thomas out there.
Very nice.
Homers, we've got a couple of homer picks.
Yeah, G.
I'll go homer then.
Go homer.
My homer.
Yep.
Okay. In 2000, and what have we got here? In 2016, this team went to the Super Bowl and they had the fifth best rushing team with 1,928 yards and carried at 4.6 yards a carry. They had 120.5 yards rushing per game. Now, in 2018, they are 29th in rushing, only averaging 88.8 at 4.1. This team needs a running back, and there is a running back that will be available, a very good one. Okay, he wants some money, but let's just give him his money because this team is probably run out of time with its number one receiver, who's an absolute gun, and that would be the Atlanta Falcons. Pay him the money. We have the money. And what will happen is that you will start to bring people, like I watch the games, there is a lot of seats vacant at Falcons games this year. Now, I don't know what the numbers are this year, but they have been going up every year since the Super Bowl, the 2 years in the Super Bowl and 2017. And they have been on the way roughly about the same, if not a bit more this year, but it'll be next year where, with the bad year, that people will stay away. So what happens when people stay away? They don't buy merchandise. They lose a little bit of interest. They don't come. They don't spend money. Your revenue drops. So he's looking at around about $17 million a year, according to Ian Rappaport. He's looking for a long-term deal. He wants 45 guaranteed. He wants exactly the same as what Todd Gurley got. Todd Gurley got $60 million. 45 of that was guaranteed. Chuck him in the Falcons team, give this team a running back. We move on from Smith, he'll go, and just happens to wear exactly the same number as Le'Veon Bell. There we go.
I like it.
Move on from Deontay. I like it. People say, well, what about Devontae Freeman? The guy's getting on. He's injury prone. Let's just pay the guy the money. Let's look, and losing the Super Bowl, I don't care what anybody says. The longer you can't get back, the longer it must eat at you at the opportunity that you had and let it slip away.
I think Le'Veon Bell on turf, we watched him do all that in grass, in Pittsburgh and Cincinnati and Cleveland. Imagine putting him on turf for 8 games a year.
Indoors.
Like a quick
Not
guy
that it really
like
makes
that.
a difference, does it? But
oh, yeah. I mean, I think it does. I think the climate matters. The field matters. A player like him is more explosive in a controlled environment. So I think he'd be on fire there if they could use him. If that offensive coordinator
there we go.
get him the ball.
Well, maybe I'll add that to the list that we get a new offensive coordinator.
New offensive coordinator.
I just want to see Des Bryant healthy in New Orleans. I wanted to see him with Drew Brees this year when he signed and he tore his Achilles. So I want to see a healthy Des Bryant in 2019 with Drew Brees opposite Michael Thomas. I want to see him go over 1,000 yards. I do. I want to see it happen. 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns. I would be very thankful for that.
That would be something good to see, for sure. Some Twitter questions really quick, guys, to round us off. So, from Neil Gray. Hey, Neil. He asks, if you're doing a single-season draft for this season again, who would be your top 5 picks?
Top 5.
Tyreek Hill, I think, would be one of them, right?
Well, Saquon Barkley's in there, for sure.
Mahomes, well, I don't know. It depends.
Ooh.
If it's not a... I mean, he's got, in my one league, he's got 414 points. Drew Brees is the next best player, and he's 350 points. Patrick Mahomes has 64 more points than Drew Brees, and they've played the same amount of games. 64.
Even in start one quarterback, that's compelling.
Yeah. Every single week you're getting that. He's got 38, 54, 34, 27, 18, 38, 44, 37, 36, 26, 56. He scored over 50 points twice.
Yes. Okay, let's put him in. So we've got Mahomes, we've got Tyreek Hill, Barkley,
Saquon.
Yep.
Gurley.
And
Kamara.
But you're not going to be able to... Yeah, okay.
Not going to be able to... Okay, what?
I was going to say, if you're going to... You'd almost have to sit down and do that as though your first 5 picks, like legitimate who would be the first 5 picks of the first 5 rounds, and you wouldn't get all those guys.
That's not what the question's asking.
I know it's not what the question...
Isn't the question asking the first 5 picks?
Yeah.
That's right. From Andrew Donnelly. Hey, Andrew. He asks, who or what can slow down the Saints?
Drew Brees getting hurt.
Oof, don't say anything
Fast linebackers. Fast linebackers who can run with side to sideline with those running backs. I feel like if they can shut Kamara, but they also have to have good corners, which there's not many teams that have fast linebackers and corners, but it's possible. There's defensive teams in this NFL. They have to have sideline to sideline linebackers who could run play after play after play. These because what happens is New Orleans, they're running so many different formations. They're running players in and players out. They need a defense that's confident, that doesn't care what formation you're in. We're going to put our 11 on the field, and we're going to shut you down. It doesn't matter if you're running this formation, if you're running that formation, if you're running this guy out there or that guy out there. Our starting 11, we're confident in, and we're keeping them on the field, and we're going to shut you down. So they got to have sideline to sideline linebackers, and they have to have a cornerback who could run with Thomas. And that's how you're going to shut. In my eyes, that's how you're going to shut them down.
They shut down Thomas today, and didn't make any difference, did it?
No, I think you perfectly described the 2017 Jags D.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately,
Yep.
I don't know if there's a 2018 version.
Right, because you got Miles Jack, Telvin Smith, you got Calais Campbell, Jalen Ramsey, Boye, definitely.
Yeah,
that's definitely who I described, because they're confident. Because teams get gassed early, they get discouraged because they're running all these players in. It's all mental.
Yeah,
the defense needs to be mentally strong as well as physically strong.
Yes.
And the second you think you're beat or you think you're gassed, you're done.
Yeah. Oh yeah. From Craft Beer Jay. Hey Jay, he asks, who would you rather start this week? Red Rocket Dalton or Crab Legs Winston?
Look, I probably now that Schepps said that AJ Green's what he's seen might not be starting.
Okay,
I probably would have gone Winston anyway, just for the upside, and he's just going to hurl the ball around. He's got a heap of targets.
Didn't Eli have a decent day against the 49ers? Because that's
his last 2 games, one of them was against the 49ers, and his last 2 games have been very decent for Eli Manning.
Yes.
Eli threw 3 touchdowns against the 49ers. Yeah. So he had his best game of the season against the 49ers. So take that for what it's worth.
Well, that's right. From the analyst, G.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you're always just dreading, what's he asked? He asked, if, say, hypothetically, you turned 50 during the week, how would you celebrate it? You didn't do much, really. It was low-key, wasn't it?
I was very low-key. Low-key. I don't, yeah. Yeah, just another day.
But you are going, there is a family holiday planned.
There is a family holiday planned. That's what we've done.
Very nice.
Yes.
Yeah, very nice.
In 2 weeks' time.
Very nice. From Dylan, he asks, what does Stafford need to do to catch a break? Seems like he's doing it with receivers most people have never heard of.
He needs to leave Detroit. I just think his time's up. I just think, I don't know. It's just not working. And
is it a Patricia thing?
Dude, I think the Lions are soft. I think their reporters are soft. I think Matt Patricia is just a hard coach, and they can't handle it. They want to be babies. And you'd figure the city of Detroit, you'd figure they'd be the opposite. They'd be welcoming hard coaching. But no, they can't take it. So I don't think it's a Patricia thing. I think I think it's kind of like, I'd like to see him like Breeze, how Breeze left the Chargers and went to New Orleans. I think if Stafford was in the right situation, what if Tom Brady retires and, Stafford's available and boom, they bring him up to New England? I don't know. I just want to see him in a different situation because I think the kid can play. It's evident, and it's just not working right now in Detroit.
Look at you throwing shade at the Detroit media. What's that about?
Look. I mean, I just think. I'm a football coach. I coach kids, and I know it's not very similar, but I just think America in general is getting soft. I think there's something to being coached hard. Like demanding something of your players, putting them through strenuous work, and I just see reporters, digging at him for practicing outside when they're playing inside this week. Get over it. If you can practice outside in 30 or 40 degree weather, and if you can do it, it's going to be so much easier inside. So get over it. The guy wants to practice outside. Let him practice outside, whatever.
And let's face it, look where he's come from. Look who he's learned from.
Oh, yeah.
Not that, we've seen that the Belichick tree hasn't been all that successful, but it's not just that. It's the fact that he's seen how someone does it and what you have to do to be a coach. Now, whether or not you can do that yourself, that's a different thing. But, mate, he's seen the way the Patriots go about it. Mate, let's face it. Look at them. They're a dynasty.
I think people tend to spoil things before they need to be spoiled. And people judge things too soon. And when they judge things and they get on things, there becomes a perception. And perception is reality. So I think they perceived him a certain way too early on, and they're snake biting his whole regime. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that happens. I think that happens with quarterbacks too. Quarterbacks get painted in a picture 3 weeks into the season that they can never let go of because people believe you're that. They start painting you in that picture, and it just happens that way, And I think Patricia is being snake bitten by his fans and by the media, and I don't think they're going to give him an opportunity to develop and really strengthen this team because now the media is questioning him, the fans are questioning him. Guess who's going to question him next? The players. And when the players start questioning him, it's all done, They need to buy in, and I don't think they're giving him a chance.
Good
it's my
point.
buddy, Patricia.
Yeah, that's right.
He's sticking up for his bud.
He is. So, listen, on that note, guys, it's time to wrap it up. And it's been a long one, but a good one.
It has.
It has.
Good luck with the editing.
No, thank you. We're both looking a little bit weary. It's late here. We've both got to get up early in the morning. But no, don't be silly. And Schepps, been good to have you back on again.
Pleasure. It's been fun.
You're working up the licorice totem pole, mate. You eventually get to the good Darryl Lee stuff eventually if you keep coming back.
I got to get halfway. I got to go strong down the stretch.
That's it.
That's right.
It's how you finish.
You guys ever want to do a nighttime episode? I mean, let me know.
No, we will. We will. Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, guys, thank you so much. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in and listening. Hope your fantasy leagues are doing well and you're enjoying the season. How could you not be?
Playoffs around the corner.
Playoffs around the corner. But listen, on behalf of both of these gents and myself, we'll say thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.